So I'm sitting here on the usual Friday night doing my thing, relaxing on my day off, relaxing a bit more after that 28-hour stream, working on my Final Fantasy tabletop system to finish up Samurai, and of course, listening to the news about the live letter. I don't always watch the live letter directly, but I always keep up on the news, the announcements, all that good jazz. And first thing I hear of is, of course, of the delay that Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker is having a delayed release date from what was announced so close, literally in the month of. So that's surprising, and of course, there are various reactions about it. Some people are understandably understanding, some people are worried about moving their time off, the raiders are looking at the new dates and being a little grateful in some ways and a little panicked in others. There's a lot going on, and then this hits my Twitter feed. Not only did he go on stream to talk to us about it, but Naoki Yoshida, the director and producer of Final Fantasy XIV, had a written letter prepared so that we could read and have all of these details in written form. So, as I am wont to, I'm going to do the courtesy of going ahead and reading and talking a bit about it directly. So let's take a look at what we got here, shall we? Greetings, Final Fantasy XIV players. This is producer and director Naoki Yoshida. First and foremost, I would like to extend my thanks to everyone playing Final Fantasy XIV and looking forward to our upcoming expansion pack, Endwalker. However, it is with great regret that I must inform you of some unfortunate news just before our scheduled launch date, and I would like you to read the following in full. Postponing the release of Endwalker. I am incredibly sorry to share this so close to launch, but I have decided to postpone the release of Endwalker. The original release date was scheduled for Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021, but I have decided to delay the release by 2 weeks. As such, the expansion pack will now be released on Tuesday, December 7th, 2021. There are several reasons for the postponement, but as I'm the one overseeing all aspects of the title as the head of the project, the responsibility falls solely on me. Allow me to convey my sincerest apologies to our players, our warriors of light around the world who have been looking so forward to the release of Endwalker. I am truly sorry. The new schedule, including early access, is outlined below. Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. Official release, Tuesday, December 7th, 2021. Start of early access, Friday, December 3rd, 2021. Patch 6.01 scheduled release, Tuesday, December 21st, 2021. Patch 6.05 scheduled release, Tuesday, January 4th, 2022. So immediately we're getting into the nitty-gritty of what's going on. We're finding out that there's a delay. We're finding out that Yoshi is taking this on his shoulders as the head of development himself. He's not blaming this on circumstances or anything like that. This is him. This is his fault. This is his decision. He's accepting and announcing that. And that's, of course, respectable as a leader and as the developer that's brought this whole project together for us. And then to get straight into the details, they announced not only when the new official release is, not only when the new early access is, but the 2 patches that follow, which are traditionally very important to the player base, as one will have the normal range, which generally involves a majority of the community, I want to say, and the Savage Raids, which is for the raiders, the people that watch the world first, the people that are getting hype, everything that builds around that, including the crafters and gatherers that support it. All of these dates are very important in their own ways, and they've gotten that out into the air immediately in this letter. So I think that's good handling in prioritizing what people want to see. But it continues. Reasons for the schedule change. The biggest factor behind the release date change was my own selfishness as the game's director. Ever since I was placed in charge of the original Final Fantasy XIV, I've continued the development and operations for Final Fantasy XIV over the past 11 years, while always endeavoring to balance my position as the producer overseeing the project and the director in charge of development. It was my intention to work in the same manner as we approached the final stages of Endwalker's development. As I've mentioned previously in interviews and during the live streams, Endwalker will be the largest expansion pack in the history of Final Fantasy XIV. It has been a huge undertaking, but we proceeded with development following plans that would allow us to make it in time for the originally scheduled release date, although admittedly, everything would be right down to the wire. However, as we neared the end of development and I played through everything from quests to battle content and the like, I just couldn't contain my desire to further improve Endwalker's quality, specifically because this expansion pack marks the first major culmination of events in Final Fantasy XIV so far. Even as we look beyond Endwalker, the Final Fantasy XIV story will continue for a long time, and we hope to deliver many more enjoyable experiences in the game. However, it was precisely because Endwalker concludes the first major saga that I felt our team needed to push ourselves to the limits that I envisioned. As a result, we remained firmly resolved to adjust down to the smallest nuances and ensure our writing covers even the finest points of the vast and intricate story that spanned these past 11 years since the original Final Fantasy XIV to ensure that everyone can fully enjoy their adventure in Endwalker. Unfortunately, the consequence of this was that we ended up in a situation where we cut into the time required for final quality assurance checks due to this time spent on additional improvements. At this rate, there was a bigger risk of us reaching the release date without ensuring stability as one form of quality, and for that reason, I have decided to postpone the release at this time. As we also anticipate large amounts of congestion across all game worlds, I felt that even in this respect, it wouldn't be right for us to release the expansion while lacking adequate stability. I am truly sorry. When I look at my own career, up until now I have never postponed a previously announced release date, although I did once shift a release from spring to early summer. And when I also considered that many players had already made arrangements such as taking days off of work in preparation for the original release date, I was incredibly torn between whether or not we should cut down the expansion pack's volume or even release content in installments. As such, I humbly ask you all to forgive me for the decision I've made. So far as this part, he's speaking directly to us. He's speaking directly to us and very earnestly about it, about how this was his decision, about how he's seen the game, the expansion through his eyes, that they've been working themselves as much as they could down to the smallest details in the writing and the stability and the quality, and they found that they wouldn't have time to fully QA the game, to test out as many of the bugs and issues as they could, which is frankly a notorious problem on expansion releases, let alone game releases, where the servers aren't stable, where there are bugs that impede progress. I'm sure a lot of our Stormblood players will remember Raubon EX. It's important that these things see the full breadth of testing you can arrange for, and to find that you've been working so hard on making it that you don't have the time to fully test it must be insanely stressful. I can completely understand why someone might put out public tears about such a decision, especially when Yoshi clearly loves this game and its community as much as he's shown us and told us. So, final remarks looking toward the future. While we have postponed the release date by 2 weeks, I believe we have been able to successfully depict Endwalker's story because we set forth on this long journey developing and operating Final Fantasy XIV together with the players. While we will require a little longer until the expansion pack's release, please rest assured that we will continue investing every ounce of our strength into development and operations in order to deliver an immersive adventure to our players. Once more, I would like to convey my sincerest apologies for the inconvenience caused to our players and colleagues due to my own shortcomings. I sincerely apologize for this decision. We will continue to do our utmost to bring you the best experience, not only in Endwalker, but also through further updates and content that will follow, restoring your trust one step at a time. Naoki Yoshida, Final Fantasy XIV producer and director. So there it is. It's an apology, it's an announcement of details, it's the reasoning behind, it's all of the details that you should speak of when apologizing on such a grand scale to millions of people, let alone in a person-to-person apology, because it feels almost like he's speaking to a small group in this letter and just apologizing for doing what he believes is the right thing for everyone's sake. And I can frankly say none of these decisions seem like they're made in bad intent or for bad reasons to me. So I have no issue with a small delay in the release to ensure that everything comes out smoothly. The worst possible scenario in this case is that he's made this apology and things still don't get tested enough. But knowing the Final Fantasy XIV development team, I'm not thinking that's going to be a major issue. While it does hurt, and I can imagine there are going to be problems, especially with, people that have time off that can't be moved, people that have already hard schedules that squeezed and dug and clawed to make room for this. But there are upsides to this too. It gives them more time to work, it gives us more time to prepare. There are people that are still doing the last little bits of content that they wanted to get done before Endwalker. The raiders that would have originally had to worry about their world first being during Christmas week now have time to spend with their families and to, prepare and enjoy the game at a little more of a pace without worrying about having to shirk the holidays or their friends and family. And hopefully everything all comes together for a better beginning and ending than we could have hoped for originally. I have a lot of high hopes for Endwalker, and this only raises them for me somewhat more, knowing that they're taking even more time to work on what they need without having to put things back far enough that it's super notable. Plus, it also means that everything about this starts just after my birthday instead of close to on, or I would be in the thick of it during my birthday. So there's something else for me personally to look forward to here. But I'd like to ask you guys, what do you think about the delays? Do you think everything said here was appropriate? Or do you still have the same high hopes for Endwalker? Are they higher? Are they lower now? What's on your mind so far as the Endwalker delay? I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. If you enjoyed this reading, definitely make sure you leave a like on the video. It does help the channel a lot. And feel free to subscribe and ring the bell if you want more. I'll see you guys soon for tomorrow's reading stream and more.